Have you tried hitting it with a hammer?
Yeah. Oh my god. I feel like no one ever actually was hearing us. Oh no.
Hold
No.
on. I have. No, they can hear.
Okay, well that's because I just now fixed everything. Ah, man.
Well, as anyone in chat could say whether they've been hearing or not.
Uh, okay, well, I got everything started. Okay. I do apologize for that slight delay. Man, I'm horrible, guys. I'm so sorry.
No, it's been a while. Don't worry.
Anyway,
You-
Malice, you said you rolled a 6?
Yes.
All right. You awaken with just the biggest, most pounding headache that you've ever had. You just kind of slowly roll over, and that's when you realize a little too late that you're on a table. And you fall to the floor.
Fuck me.
I can't remember. Does Malice has Azrael in this world, or is that just Fizzgig? Okay, Fizzgig. Yeah. Your little hellhound stumbles over to you and just kind of like starts to lick your face, making sure that you're okay. At that moment, Malice, everything just kind of rushes back to you, and this is also why what I had happened because you weren't in last session. Basically, you remember you were with your team, you were outside, you were investigating the strange corpse, and then the owlbear attacked. You went gung-ho to try and fight it, and it basically just swatted you off to the side, and you hit your head on a rock. And you basically were just knocked unconscious. From what you can tell, it's only been like 2 hours since that happened. But you're awake now. You've suffered no damage. It looks like they bandaged you pretty good. So we'll consider like you've had your long rest.
Okay.
That being said, Malice, what is it that you do?
Well, I guess she would try and find somebody to ask what the fuck happened.
All right. Malice, I would like you to roll me a perception check.
Okay. Four.
Malice, you look around, and unfortunately, it is just a sea of people before you, and it's all like Greyblade hunters and administrative workers for the Greyblades, and they all seem kind of peppy. Like everyone's just like, yeah, we got drinks in our hands, we got like turkey legs in our other hands. Like this is a fun time. You think this might be some kind of Renaissance fair at first glance, but for some reason, you get the feeling that something else is going on here. Something very, very happy.
Well, since she can't find anybody, she's gonna just walk around and browse the cart.
All right, so Malice, you exit the Greyblade headquarters, and again, you're still a little sore. Your head still kind of pounds a bit. But it's nothing too debilitating or anything. Whoa! Josh Tehuman just subscribed.
No, it's just showing that I've been subscribed for 20 months, and this is my 6-month streak of actually.
Aww.
I am hosting though, and I put it on my Twitter and like through like 20 different Twitch Discord servers. So.
Aw, thank you.
It's out there.
Alrighty then. Malice, you check out some of the food carts. I would like you to roll me another perception check. The first one was to look for familiar faces. Now I want you to do just a general lay of the land of all the food carts that you see.
Okay. 6. I have the worst luck tonight.
It's okay. It's okay. It's kind of difficult to tell because there's just many different food carts in this bottom tier of Acheron City, but you start to just get a whiff of everything, and you smell like freshly cooked meats with many spices. There's different kinds of ales and wines. There's a cart that has a bunch of sweets and pastries. There's this new recipe that someone seemed to be debuting today where they take these dried kernels of corn on the cob and they put them over a fire and they pop into these little white puffs. It's actually kind of amazing. And that's when it suddenly like clicks in your head. I can't remember if you can remind me of Malice's backstory. Has she been kind of like living on her own, or would she spend a lot of time like in the city?
She'd be on her own.
Okay. During your travels, what is happening here is that this is something you kind of gathered is something that they do seems to be like once a year. It's a big kind of celebration, and clearly everyone seems to be having a good time. And that's when one certain smell catches your nose, and you just kind of take a whiff of it, and it guides you to these scrumptious-looking, like, flanks of meat on a stick that are just completely dipped and drowned in a black and red sauce. and they seem to be like high sellers here. And whatever else you're smelling here, this seems to be like the biggest scent that you're getting here.
Okay. How much for one?
You walk up to the patron. You walk up to the merchant of the cart, and you realize that this person, he's not really a person. He's a gnome, like another gnome, who's just standing on a big ladder. And he has like these giant, you get the sense that he might be some kind of artificer, but he's got like these giant, you ever see like in toy stores, like those giant little grabby arms with like the red hooks at the end? He's got like one in each hand, and he's just like making all this, and he looks down at you because he's standing on a stepladder that's taller than you, and he just goes, and he goes like, "Oh, you want one of these, miss? Yeah, not a problem." He like grabs one, dips it, hands it to you. "Oh, that'll be 1 silver."
Okay. I'll hand over the silver.
All right. You take it, and this thing's got some heft to it in your hand. And Fizzgig is just looking up at it like he's not even, like, Fizzgig is not even drooling. He is just, like, in awe.
Well, of course I'm gonna split that in half with him.
He does a little happy dance, and he goes in a circle, and he wants, like, "Give me my half now."
Here you go, you little shit.
All right, you rip off some, and he laps it up, and he is just like, the moment he puts it in his mouth, he's just like, And then he just starts to chew more slowly, and you see, like, little tears coming out of Fizzgig's eyes. And he sits down, he takes his front paws, and he's just like doing like,
That good, huh?
He can't bark, and he tries to bark, and a little bit of barbecue sauce like spurts out of his mouth on the floor.
Yep. They're pretty good, apparently. And then she's just gonna go back to wandering.
All right. We will now turn the camera to Lorelei. So, Lorelei, what is it that you're doing?
Well, I have a question.
Yes?
Where the festival is that where, like, all the shops are? Like, it's, like, down that street?
Technically, the festival is the entire city. Like literally everyone in the city is celebrating. But if you're wanting to know like where all of the food carts and the merchant stands and literally all of the activities and like places to like purchase stuff are, that's like the very bottom level where the 4 main gates are of the city. That's like the common area.
Got you. I'm gonna make my way over there and try to buy all of the stuff that I originally was gonna buy for me to go back to my hut in the woods.
All right, and what is that
Is
stuff?
it the woods or is it the jungle?
It's
Sorry,
the jungle. Jungle, woods. They're they're a little interchangeable in this world, so it doesn't really matter. But what is it exactly that you are looking to get?
Well, she was gonna get like some firewood, some like fruits and veggies that she can't like grow herself, and stuff, so that she could not have to return for a while.
Gotcha. All right. Roll me a perception check.
Okay, give me a minute. I got a 15, good sir.
All right. Luckily for you, you were able to find a couple good locations that do sell like general supplies. However, it looks like you caught them right on time because you rolled a high enough perception. It looks like they are within like the last 10 minutes before they close so that the shopkeepers can go and celebrate the festivities themselves as well. So you see, like, the open sign is still turned to open. They're just starting to, like, clean stuff up a little bit. But the doors are still open, so you can still, like, come on in and make purchases. One shop that you go to, which just seems to be just a general store, which sells, like, all of the basic necessities for not just Greyblade hunters, but also just basic adventurers and woodsmen and people with just steady manual labor jobs. This is where they would get their supplies, and if ever they need to, like, get something replaced or fixed, this is where they go. And here is just a normal human merchant. He's got a white shirt, brown vest. He's got glasses. He's got a bit of a bald top head, but he's got hair on the sides. He's not old, but he's older than you. And he's just kind of out in the front, just kind of sweeping up a bit, and he just looks up and he goes like, Oh, can I help you?
Shop is this? I'm sorry, I missed that.
This is the general stop. This is what I was describing the entire time.
God, sorry. I don't know why I missed that. I apologize. She's gonna say, I need supplies.
Is that all? Just those? Oh, okay.
Yeah. To not have to come back for a while. Like firewood, various fruits, and just supplies.
All right, I think I might have something for you. He sets the broom down and he like gestures for you to come into his store. It's a very small, very basic store, but they have a lot here, and there's like 2 aisles. One seems to have like fresh, very basic produce, not anything specialized or exotic. And then the other side is basic supplies like ropes, small axes, small daggers, empty leather burlap sacks for like over the shoulder or like tote styles that you can hold in your hand. Just very basic supplies. And he goes like, well, let's see. If you're wanting to stay outside for a little while longer than most, I definitely do recommend a new sack, probably. Something fresh. These ones are waterproof. I just treated them myself, so nothing will rot or get ruined, whatever you put in there. Let's see. If you're looking for something fresh to eat, I did get these new deliveries of apples and bananas and oranges in. Oranges I definitely do recommend, so I would definitely take some of those. Feel free, please, take your pick. I'll be up the front waiting for you. And he, like, hobbles away for a moment.
She's gonna, like, take, like, basically, like, one of every fruit and stuff it in her bag. And then she's gonna, like, look at the other supplies. She's gonna take some rope. She's gonna take, or is there firewood in there?
There is. There's like I don't really know how to describe it, but do you know how like at the outside of like Walmarts and Targets or something where like bundles that are wrapped in plastic and they kind of like stapled a makeshift like handle to it. It's one of those. I mean, obviously they don't have staples here or anything, but it's like the equivalent of that.
I got you. And she's gonna take that and she's gonna, like, put some of that on her pack. And then she's gonna look at her sack. And it's pretty old and it's pretty tattered. It has a F embroidered on it. And she's gonna look at it. She's gonna touch the embroidered F. And then she's gonna look at the other sacks. And she's gonna walk away. She's not gonna take one of those.
Aww.
And she's going to walk up to the shop owner, and she's gonna put down her stuff, and she's gonna take it out of her bag. She's basically using it as, like, when you go to Aldi and you don't have a cart, just, like, using it to put some shit in. But she's gonna obviously pay for it all.
All right.
And she's gonna put them down, and she's gonna say, "How much?"
Just those two words, how much?
Yep.
All right. The human just kind of looks at the items that you put on his table, and he's like, okay, let's see. You can kind of see him doing like mental math for a moment, and then he kind of looks down at a piece of parchment. All of these totaled will come to exactly 6 silvers.
Okay. And she's gonna let me do that. How much is like a gold for silver?
A gold I think is like
10. Oh, there. I should have read. I apologize. Okay, so she's gonna put down 1 gold piece.
All right, and you said that how much is 1 gold to a silver? You like said so.
10 silver pieces.
Okay, awesome. So he graciously takes the gold and he gives you 4 silvers back as change. And he goes, I hope all of this serves you well, young miss.
Thank you, sir. And she's gonna, like, put it all back in her bag, and she's gonna hike it over her shoulders, and she's gonna try to avoid the crowd as much as she can, because she's not, like, one for this type of scene. And she's gonna kind of start to head out.
All right. Make me a perception check.
Okay. I got a 16.
All right. Unfortunately, while you can clearly see one of the gates that lead to the outside of Acheron City, this crowd is thick. We're talking like with 5 C's here. You can definitely do any kind of attempt to try and muscle through the crowd, but it is gonna be like just very difficult.
She's to kind of get a little disoriented. Like, this kind of thing actually makes her a little nervous.
Okay, not a problem. If that's the case, roll me a wisdom saving throw.
That's a 5.
Okay. Unfortunately, Lorelei, your anxiety starts to get just a little bit better of you, and while it looks like right now you're just unable to just get through the crowd to try to head to one of the gates, you decide to back away from the crowd a little bit, and you take a seat. You pop a squat on just like an empty upside down box to just kind of catch your breath for a moment. That being said, though, still with a 6, you're able to see that everyone here, they don't really seem to really pay any attention to you. Like, they're all just kind of off doing their own things. As to what you have DM'd me, Carly, the answer is no.
Okay.
Now that being said, though, all of the crowd that you're all seeing, they're all just kind of, again, they're lost in their own worlds, doing their own things. They're chatting amongst each other. And right now, I'm not just describing what is before Lorelei right now. Everyone here, though, if anything, with the exception of Kara, because you're still at your uncle's manor, so you kind of you have a little bit more arm length room than everyone else who's just kind of lost in the crowds for a bit. At that moment, you all hear this very loud, deep horn that just reverbs like across the floor, the stones, like the very buildings. I'm not even gonna ask you all to do like perception checks. You all hear this, and for those of you that are like sitting down, like Carly, you actually do feel a very faint but very noticeable vibration as that deep, deep, bassy. No, I'm not entertaining that, Carly. I know what's in your head. I know what you're gonna say.
Say that! I'm gonna clutch the seat and be like, oh, I don't like that.
Carly, unfortunately, you were talking so loud, it cut out that entire first sentence you were saying due to like noise reduction.
Clutch her seat to kind of keep herself like steady, and she's gonna say, oh, I don't like that.
Everyone, like I said, this is a deep, bassy horn that reverbs throughout the entire city that you all hear and you all notice. Dath, how do you react, like, hearing this deep noise? We cannot hear you. We cannot hear you at all. There you are.
Hang on. 1 second. Can you hear me now? Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so that's not going to work. He just has a very normal reaction. Like, what was that? Or actually, what would he know about that horn?
I will get to that in a moment. Everyone's reactions to the horn are all kind of happening at the same time. So that's how Dath responds.
All right.
Strider, how do you respond to the deep, deep bassness of the horn?
Stridar and Zethar both hear the horn, look towards where it's coming from. Big, goofy anime protagonist like smiles upon their face, and they just head towards it.
Are we talking smile to the level of Izuku Midoriya, Naruto, or are we talking Luffy-sized?
We're talking like Luffy size, like let's get going, let's do this, just super excited. You know, no one can take down the positivity. Let's just do this and just bolt. Like they're just going. Like Zethar just stays on Stridar's shoulder, but they're both just excited and they're just bulldozing people on their way down towards where it's all coming from. They're just ready and raring to go.
All right, Kara, how do you respond?
Kara just kind of like she actually just kind of raises an eyebrow, like, what the? Okay.
Malice, how do you respond? You're muted.
I think she'd just be silent.
All right. And lastly, Elma, how do you respond?
Oh, that sounds interesting. I gotta find out where that's at. She starts looking.
All right. Now, unfortunately, this may seem like I'm adding you, Carly, but because of Lorelei's backstory, you're gonna be the only one that does not have to do this. But I would like everyone else to roll history checks.
Well, I know why. Okay. By the way, I DM'd you your answer, Evan.
I know, and I saw. Thank you very much.
Cool.
I got a 23.
Dirty 20.
14. Would you
You're
like me to
rolling.
do one also for Zathar, the dragon, since he does have human-like intelligence?
Not in this case, no. For this specific roll, we're just going to have that count for the both of you.
16.
16? And
16.
Dath?
I got an 18.
All right. All of you triumph. And Lorelai, you're the only one that, because of your backstory, you have no frickin' idea what this giant horn is. However, Lorelai, from where you're sitting, the moment that horn sounded, everyone just kind of all looked in the same direction. Not like completely uniform, like mind control or a cult or anything. They all just kind of started. Yeah, it's not anything creepy. It's more like you see everyone kind of look in the same direction in general, like they all know what this is, and they are very excited. So all of them start walking to one of the massive stairs and elevators to all start heading to higher levels. So how do you react seeing this?
Lorelai's gonna get up from where she's sitting, and she's gonna attempt to tap on one of their shoulders, and gonna ask, like, what is this?
All right, you tap the shoulder of a very old, bearded turtle man with like a staff, and he just kind of like looks over at you with his long, like Galapagos turtle neck, and he just kind of like looks at you for a moment. This guy basically looks like Oogway from Kung Fu Panda, wearing like wizard robes. By the way, Kung Fu Panda trilogy is the greatest series of movies ever. Fight me. He just goes like, "Oh,
Idea.
I'm sorry. What did you ask me?"
Excuse me, sir. What is?
Oh, have you never been to one of the celebrations?
No.
Oh, that's a shame. Come with me, my dear. I could actually use some company. They're about to start the arch ceremony.
No.
Would you like to accompany me?
She kind of thinks for a minute, and then she looks at the turtle. Oh god.
Make a charisma saving throw to resist like old man wholesome. I'm kidding.
Would you want me to roll?
No, it's your choice.
And she's gonna say, okay.
And he gently extends like this turtle hand to you to take, and in his other hand he's got like a gnarled staff. He's not a wizard or anything. He's just old. He goes like, very well, here, I'll take you to where the ceremony's held. And he walks quite slowly, but he's very determined for an old man. Like, I'm gonna get to that ceremony.
I love him.
Meanwhile, at the same time, Dath, Kara, Malice, Strider, Zethar, and Fidelma. The moment you all hear, I got everyone right. The moment you all hear that horn, it clicks in your head. This is the official arch ceremony of the Year's End Festival. Basically, everyone in the entire city will go to these massive balconies built out at the side of the mountain, where they can technically leave the mountain itself and gaze upon the horizon of the island and beyond. And it's here that something quite amazing happens to basically say goodbye to the old year and welcome in the new year. So, that being said, though, I know Strider basically already answered with the Luffy smile and just gunning straight for one of these balconies. That being said, though, Dath, Malice, Kara, and Elma, what do you guys do? Do you continue doing your own thing, or do you decide to follow everyone? Follow everyone to these giant balconies.
I'm going to a balcony.
Okay, that's Elma. Who's next?
Follow.
All right, Dath, Kara.
I suppose Kara would, but she would probably go check on her uncle to see if he's. You
haven't left. You've been right next to your uncle this entire time because that's where we ended last episode. Your uncle just kind of like looks up at you with a big old smile and just goes, "Oh, go on. Go on. I've seen enough of these to last me a lifetime, but it's always an honor to see them awaken firsthand. Go on, and then return when you're all done, and then we can discuss your father's book."
Oh, no, you don't. You're coming with me. And she like, grabs his chair and
She grabs the wheelchair and just goes like, wait, no, I'm not ready! Ah! Meanwhile, the butler of Kara's uncle's house is just holding the tray there, just kind of watches them all and goes, "Well, time to call the old comrades and throw an absolute rager here in this bitch." And Daff.
Please tell me one of them is Logan, because that would just make my day.
I kind of always imagined Kara's butler as, I can't remember his name, but he was Archer's butler in the show Archer, but with just...
Well, it was like Willhouse, right?
Yes, Willhouse, I think. Okay, and lastly, Dath, what is it that you're doing?
Dath is probably just gonna sit in the corner and write.
So you're basically staying where you are. You're not going to rejoin everyone?
Oh well, yeah. I guess I will join everyone.
Okay.
So
I was honestly just checking. I was leaving it up to you. Okay. So, everyone. Though it takes quite a bit of effort, the crowds start to coalesce and form into basically one giant mass as they all climb these stairs, take the giant elevators, and they all go to this one very high level of Acheron City. There are no establishments, there are no buildings or households. Much like how the city has 4 giant gateways that go in and out of the city, there are 4 absolutely massive balconies built out of the side of this mountain. Basically, imagine 4 football field stadiums on the 4 compass directions built out of the side of the mountain itself. And all four of them combined can basically hold the entire city's population. That's how big they are. However, while you all make it to your balconies, and by the way, out of sheer coincidence, all of you seem to get to the same balcony. So you're all together once again. Strider and Zathar, obviously you're the ones who got there first because you just freaking gunned it like a madman. And you go to the same balcony like all the time. You've researched the ceremony. You stayed up like a whole week straight just learning as much as you can about this. You're pretty sure you gave yourself brain damage from the sheer amount of hours of not sleeping that one week. But you can't remember what that week was like. You just remember the knowledge. So who knows?
Oh, I'm sure I'm just fine. I get there, and I'm looking out and like in awe, but I also know where a certain someone where they would normally go, and I'm looking to see where they are. But all of a sudden, I feel eyes sort of like start like coming upon me. I look behind and I see the others like starting to come back, and so I start just waving goofily. And Zathar, he's on my shoulder, and he kind of stands on his back legs, and he has his tiny front arms, and he's also waving at everyone too.
You hear little Zathar screech out, "Follow the beacon of bright gold! We're right here!"
Just
The beacons of Zathar are lit! Strider calls for aid!
All I see are knees.
And is Elmo like near me now? Just curious. I'm just asking Elmo.
Oh yeah, you're all arriving at basically the same time. Like Dath is kind of lagging behind because he's got his book that he's writing and he's focused just a little bit more on that. So he arrives last. Malice, you and Fizzgig are still like chomping on that giant flank steak on a barbecue stick that entire time. You gave like another bit to Fizzgig, and your mouth is just a mess of barbecue sauce. Kara, you arrive next, and you just have like this scared old man in a wheelchair for some reason that no one has ever met before. And he just looks at you and goes like, "Don't go that fast again, jeez." And then lastly, now truly lastly, because of how slow they went, you see Lorelei escorting like a proper gentle lady, this kindly old turtle with a beard, who still has you gently by the hand, and you're like holding on to his arm. He goes like, "Oh, it's always a wonder to come up here. Thank you so much, dearie."
My name is Lorelei.
Oh, Lorelei, that's such a profoundly beautiful name. My name is Sebastian, and it's an honor to meet you.
If anything happens to Sebastian, I'm quitting the campaign.
Plot twist, he's the BBEG. And all of you see Lorelei just finally pull up with this old turtle holding onto the turtle's arms. For a moment, you all can interact amongst yourselves if you wish.
Oh, hi everyone. How are y'all doing?
Rydar, where you been?
Oh, I've been taking care of a little bit of business. Can you see anything from down there? Would you like me to help you up? I'm sure you can like hang out on my shoulder or something so you can see things better.
Oh, that would be wonderful. I want to see everything.
And so Zathar just flies up and he's now just floating in the air. So that way, like Strider like bends down and just brings up Elma and puts Elma on his shoulder so that way she can have a better view of the surrounding area and everything.
Awesome.
This is so neat. I can see everything.
Pretty awesome, huh?
Yeah, it is. I can't. This is exciting. It's very exciting.
It's so exciting.
For this evening, Elma, you are the tallest one in the team.
Yes. All right.
In the back of your mind, Elma, you hear this little thought that says, "Say, fear me, mortals, for I am your god."
Fear me, for I am Fadama!
I love her so much.
Yeah!
Why do I see Elma gripping onto Strider, and with her other hand she's doing like the never-ending story riding on Falcor. Yeah!
That's what I just
Probably because
did.
that's exactly what's happening. Elba's doing that, and Strider is like fist pumping in the air, and Zathar is like shoots a little plume of fire next to them, and like in excitement, just yeah.
This group ain't gonna handle the two of us being this happy.
No.
Fucking delightful.
At that moment, as more and more people start to arrive, all of you start to see just a slightly bit more of a guard presence show up on the balcony that you're all on. You all automatically know that this is just like natural security, just make sure that no one gets too rowdy during these ceremonies here. And again, these aren't Greyblades. This is the city, this is the military guard that basically acts as the defensive force of Acheron. As these people start to take their placements around the perimeter of the balcony, all of you start to see like this bright glint of light. And you realize it's like the torchlight, the surrounding torches are reflecting off of what looks like the most polished mirror-like armor that you have ever seen in your life. And actually not just matching Strider and Elma's combined height, but actually surpassing it. You all see this heavily armored, ornately, beautifully armored Leonin striding to the entrance of the balcony. Y'all, this guy is shiny as hell. Like this.
One could say he's lit.
Like this, like for all of you, I want you to think up the most stereotypical caricature of paladin, and this is him. This is like, you look up the definition of paladin, and it's just a picture of this guy.
Liam Neeson as Zeus.
Actually, yeah, it is that art. By the way, Josh.
He was Aslan.
Josh, I'm gonna give you advantage on your next roll because you referenced Clash of the Titans, and that's actually one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Well, also he was Aslan.
And also he was Aslan, in the Narnia movies.
He was.
So now if his voice is not Liam Neeson, we might be a little bit upset with you.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, I had designed this guy many, many months ago. He does not sound like Liam Neeson.
I'm now upset.
If
Not
anything,
in Northern Irish, but
DM gets disadvantage.
DM gets disadvantage.
If anything, I can't remember what his name is, but his voice sounds like Disney's Tarzan.
No. Well, there were two.
No.
There were two.
monosyllabic.
The animated Tarzan.
Oh.
Well, yeah. I meant the movie and the TV show, but.
Oh, I mean the movie. I never saw the show.
Eh.
As the guards kind of take their perimeter spots, the giant Leonin just kind of stands before the entire crowd, and he just kind of towers everyone. And for you, Leonin, he's just got this bright smile. He's all sunshine and rainbows, and he's just happy to be here. He gives Strider a run for his money and positivity. And at that moment, he just simply raises his hand, and he simply says, "Excuse me, everyone. If I may have your attention, the Royal Regent shall address the citizens of Acheron. Please direct your attention to the middle platform suspended in the air between all balconies." And he steps away for a moment.
Strider, and this goes like this. With Elma, they just like go directly looking for where they should.
Elma, I need you to do a strength check.
Oh, lordy.
Like with that.
This is gonna be fun. Strength.
Yeah,
Okay,
strength check.
okay. It's gonna be really sad because it's a 4. Because I have a -2.
Unfortunately, Elma, when Strider turned to such an intense degree, you suffered the whiplash and you were just flung off of his shoulders straight to the ground.
Can I try to catch her?
Okay. Strider, roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Oh, well, that's a 13, but you said I'd get advantage on my next roll.
You do get advantage.
That's a bit better. That's a 16.
All right. Just before she slams face first into the hard stone ground, you grab her by her ankles.
I grab her by her ankles and I just fling her back up and put her back on my shoulder.
Yeah, for
I
everyone
was wearing clean pantaloons.
For everyone else, this was like one swift, fluid motion, like whip, fall, grab, put back on.
That was fast.
And
I got you. Don't worry. I won't let you fall.
You're cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I like him. As everyone slowly begins to gently turn away from the outside and the horizon of home, you see, suspended in midair in what looks like magical crystals, a massive platform. Standing on this platform are a few, you see 4 figures here. Actually, no, wait, really? You just see 3. Sorry, I jumped ahead for a moment. In the center is what looks like a giant Goliath. This is not the same Goliath. This is not Garab. This is not Strider's mentor. This is a different Goliath. This one is actually dressed very regally. And he doesn't have a wig because all Goliaths by just genetics are bald. They have no facial hair. But he dresses the part. And you can only assume, and this is for all of you, that this must be the Lord Regent of Acheron City. Right next to him, you see, also dressed very finely, a Loxodon. He wears very regal. While the Goliath seems to wear a lot of red and gold, the Loxodon primarily wears a lot of white. Not as stylish as the Regent himself, but no less dapper. He's got a cane in his hand, though from what you can tell, he doesn't need it to walk. It's purely just like a symbol of status. The strange thing, though, however, is that this Loxodon is not like other Loxodon. You all know Loxodon. They're basically elephant people. This one is strange, because this Loxodon doesn't just have, like, rough gray skin like a normal elephant person. This one is completely covered in brown fur. And while the Goliath just kind of looks at everyone, like, kind of slightly down the nose, but not egotistically, just like, it's natural. He's higher than you in authority. The Loxodon, the furry Loxodon, has the exact same gaze about him. And then, standing on his other side, all of you know who this is. And you see standing right next to the Goliath, Supreme Commander Volthric. A large silver dragonborn. And while the other two are dressed regally for, like, celebration, he never once takes off his armor. Like, he is just decked out in hunting gear. He's got a giant, like, two-handed bastard sword on his back that with the blade is huge and thick. This guy is large. For a dragonborn, he's huge. And while everyone else while the other two just kind of look down their noses for a moment, Volthric is the only one who actually, like, lowers his head to actually look at everyone. And he's just kind of silently acknowledging everyone for a moment. Excuse me while I have Volthric do a perception check to see if he notices Strider waving like a fangirl to Aerosmith.
Volthric!
Strider, do you know him?
Yeah, I do!
Whoa, who is he?
Oh, he's very important.
Oh,
Yeah.
he looks it.
He is.
That is a 7. He doesn't notice.
Oh.
Do I know him?
Yes, you do, because you're a little bit more aware of city life and society because this is where you live. You do know who Volthric is. A lot of you know who Volthric is. He is a very prominent, high-ranking figure in Acheron society. That being said,
Have I ever met him?
No. None of you have met him. You've met his direct second in command, Tarek. He was the one who addressed you when you completed your mission in last episode. That being said, though, Lorelei. Sebastian just kind of, like, looks at you for a moment and just goes, dear, you mentioned that you are not familiar with the arch ceremonies. Do you at least know who those are?
The elephant? No.
Well, the Goliath is the Lord Regent. He rules all of the city. He is the one in charge of making sure that everyone is safe and taken care of. He's known as Lord Regent Gahoon. That right next to him, and he points to the brown, hairy Loxodon, his name is Mogul. He is in charge of all of the city's finances. He basically is in charge of making sure that all the gold and silver goes to where it needs to be. Without him, there would be no celebration. Now, you don't know those two, but you said you knew the Dragonborn?
No.
Oh, my mistake. These eardrums are getting crusty.
And I think I forgot that one.
That right there is Supreme Commander Volthric. He commands the Greyblades. In terms of the guild, he is the highest position.
He's shiny.
Oh yes, he's very shiny. At that moment, Gahoon steps forward on the platform, and there's just a hush among the crowd. And everyone's eyes are just glued to the Goliath in regal red and gold robes, and he just says, "My friends, today we welcome another year of life, kinship, brotherhood to our fair city, our sanctuary of Acheron, this bastion of hope on our island home. Without this sanctuary and without its people, it would be safe to say that none of us would be here. When our ancestors settled on this island to escape whatever calamity threatened our very existence, we knew that this island was our destiny. And it is by the grace of the archbeasts that we are allowed to not only live, but thrive. Now, we shall say goodbye to 1 year and welcome the next. And he gives a bow before everyone, before kind of backing away. The entire crowd just starts to just erupt in applause and cheers. Strider is the one who's actually going "Woo! Yeah! Gahoon!"
And Zephyr is just flying around, just blowing fire, just excited, just.
Yeah, Elma, you have a little gold dragon haloing around your hair, letting out little flames of celebration.
That's fine with me.
Now at that moment, Lorelei, Sebastian just kind of taps on you and just goes, "Oh, we better be quick, my dear. We need to turn around or we'll miss it." And slowly, the crowd begins to turn around once again to face the horizon. Kara, your uncle just kind of looks up at you and just says, "Now pay attention, dear niece. What you're about to see is one of the reasons why your father became a Greyblade in the first place." before your very eyes, the sun finally sets past the horizon, and little stars begin to finally appear in the ever-dimming night sky. As the moon finally makes its presence known coming out from behind some clouds, there is a shimmering glow behind you. Not to the same degree as, like, Zethar and Sunraz, the Leonin paladin. It's a lot more faint and subtle, and a lot of you glance behind you to see the levels that you all climbed up to get here have brought you close to the very pointed tip of the mountain itself, and you realize this entire top of the mountain is one giant diamond, to the point where you can actually, so expertly carved, you can clearly see through it like a window, and you can actually see the rest of the surrounding islands itself. Beneath you, beneath the section that you're at, is the jungle region. And as you look slowly to your left and you go counterclockwise, you see the swamps, the desert, the winter wasteland of the tundra. And then right next to that, the black, cragged, volcanic region of the Firelands. At that moment, you all feel it. Boom. 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 And far off, coming from the tundra region of the island, coming out from behind a mountain, you see the most absolutely massive woolly mammoth that you have ever seen in your lives. Like, okay, to give you an idea, how many of you have watched an anime or read a manga called Toriko?
I know of it.
Okay, Sabrina, do you remember the one chapter where they had to hunt the giant mammoth to get a piece of, like, a special cut of meat out of it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's that big.
What the fuck?
Yeah! This is my favorite part.
This is your favorite part. That thing's gigantic. Fuck.
Yeah, this thing is the size of Legendary Pictures Godzilla. It's huge.
I
And
want to ride it.
this mammoth just towers over everything, and almost the mountain that it came out from behind. And it just takes low, lumbering steps. Doesn't even look at the mountain. It just kind of like looks around at the horizon. And it raises its trunk, and it lets loose with the most shattering elephant horn that you have ever heard. It shakes the entire island.
Yes.
Hold on, where is it? Here it is. At that moment, you then hear a swishing, whirling sound, and all of your attention is then directed over to the desert region. And all of a sudden, a tornado of sand just suddenly erupts out of the middle of the desert. And before you, slowly marching out of this tornado of sand, is a massive, just a little bit shorter than the mammoth, but no less imposing. You see before you a gigantic winged sphinx.
I was mistaken. This one's my favorite.
And it lumbers out of the sand, pats the sand a bit, making some claw marks, and then lets out with a mighty lion's roar that basically causes the sand to kick up into a giant cloud. Then you hear very loud bubbling. Your attention then turns more towards the swamplands, where very few pockets of land, of actual walkable land are. The rest is just lakes and swamps and rivers. And out of the very center of it, a gigantic blue serpent's head begins to slowly rise up. And then a second. And then a third. And then a fourth. And then at last, a fifth. Slowly lumbering out of the swamp waters is a giant sapphire shimmering Hydra. Yes, yes, Kara.
Kara looks at Stridar and goes, "Are you gonna say that one's your favorite too?"
They're all my favorite now.
Of course they are.
And then for such an absolutely terrifying creature the Hydra is, basically imagine a blue, 5-headed King Ghidorah with 4 legs and no wings. And that's basically what this thing is. For such a massively terrifying creature, all 5 heads slowly raise up towards the heavens, and they start to let out a very strangely calming melody, almost like a pod of whale songs, all singing out at once that seems to just reverb the very air itself. And at that moment, you then hear a massive explosion. And you finally turn around some more as the very volcano at the edge of the Firelands suddenly erupts in a massive plume of fire and lava as a pair of golden orange red wings sprout out from the sides of the geyser of lava, and a absolutely massive phoenix flies out of the top of the volcano and actually circles around the island, almost lighting up the sky like it's daytime once again. After doing a lap around the island, it slowly perches itself upon the edge of the volcano. It raises its wings once more and lets out this majestic eagle-like noise that seems to shake the clouds itself.
A tear falls down Stridar's face.
Oh, shut up.
Kara looks at Stridar and goes, "Now that one actually is my favorite."
Right?
So far, how is everyone else reacting to this? I would know your thoughts.
Malice is just thinking, how the fuck do those things come? Like, we kill them?
I'm taking lunch.
Does she actually think that out loud, Malice?
No.
Okay. Lorelai.
Lorelai is just like, she's watching, but she is keeping like a very close eye. She's trying to like keep a close eye on like every like creature like at the same time. So her head's just like darting to each one to be like, are you gonna attack? Are you gonna attack? Are you gonna attack? Are you gonna attack?
Sensing your fear, I know your fear, Skywalker. The Sebastian just kind of taps you and gently like pats your hand and just goes, "Oh, dear, you have no reason to fear. These animals are not to be feared. They are our guardians."
Know about that?
Roll me a history check. And then as soon as I'm done with Lorelai, Liam, I'll get to you.
All right.
I got a 6.
Nope, you would not know that. These were just... You've seen these creatures before, but you just thought they were just bigger than normal monsters, and nothing more than that.
She's gonna look at the turtle, Sebastian, and she's gonna like kind of nod and kind of calm down a little bit. And she's just gonna keep kind of very, like, vigilant.
Meanwhile, at the same time, what is Dath thinking?
Does Dath recognize these things?
You roll me a history check as well. Your DC is going to be a little bit lower than Lorelai's because you live in Acheron.
Alright. 15.
Yes, Dath, you know precisely what these creatures are, and by extension, so does everyone else. These massive beasts that you see are known as the Archbeasts, and they are essentially the guardians of the island of home. And it is their presence that basically keeps all of the other animals in line. They basically help maintain the balance between the city that you all live in and the various wildlife in their respective regions. Basically, if the Archbeasts were not here, all the creatures of the island would just run around everywhere causing chaos. These are not just alphas. These are like alphas on steroids on crack at the same time. So basically, essentially, without them, the balance would be thrown into chaos. Now, that being said, though, Dath, you notice something. And I'm not even going to ask you to roll Strider. You would notice this as well, because you're Strider. Because you're just that much of a geek for this kind of stuff. And that being said, though, Josh, I don't mean to insult Strider. I actually honestly do love his character. He's adorable. Carly, you're muted.
He's an anime protagonist.
I said I adore him.
At that moment, both Dath and Strider, you both kind of notice something. You so far have seen 4 Archbeasts in the ceremony, but there are 5 regions of the island. Where's the 5th Archbeast? And at that moment, when the seconds start to roll by, the entire crowd all around you begins to actually start to realize the same thing. Typically, all 5 Archbeasts slowly come out one at a time and let out a mighty roar to basically symbolically welcome the new year. Like, they do this all the time, once a year, everywhere, basically like exact clockwork. This has never happened before. Where's that 5th Archbeast? And at that moment... Oh, no, please, go ahead.
Alright, well, Dath was just gonna be like, this isn't right.
Do you say that out loud?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically Dath is the first one in your party that speaks out that something is wrong.
Right, I was like counting on his fingers, just going 1, 2, 3, 4.
And Dath's like, Dath is like, come on, you can do it. You can figure it out.
No, it's not so much that he doesn't know numbers and count. Like, he's not dumb. It's just more so like he's just going like it's more so like his processes are going like, wait, where's the 5th one? Then he just kind of like this yells like shocked, just where's the 5th one?
At that moment, Strider, when you...
Dath is like, okay, he figured it out. Good. All right.
Meanwhile, everyone else in the party, you kind of subtly heard Dath just kind of speaking out loud, but it was Strider who basically voiced everyone's collective thoughts by screaming them in utter terror of, where's the 5th one? Yes, Carly. Carly, just leave yourself unmuted.
Okay, sorry. Lorelai's gonna look at Sebastian and say, excuse me, where's the 5th?
Lorelai, you look at Sebastian in his turtly face, and you are actually seeing him quite nervous now. And even he's going, I don't know. This has never happened before. And,
right?
I know. And he actually kind of, Lorelai, he actually clutches your hand just a little bit tighter. Meanwhile, Kara, your uncle has lost all his cheer. And even he's like, "Oh, wait, this isn't right. This never happens. What's going on?" Leah, if you're saying, oh, you unmuted. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Kara actually, like, she's actually like kind of concerned because, like, as far as she also remembers this has never happened. She actually, her gaze, instead of continuously looking out to see where every see if anything like emerges or anything like that, she actually turns to look at the leaders, the regents, to see what their response is to, like, how concerned are they showing.
Roll me a perception check. Because here's the thing, where you guys are standing relative to, like, the three leaders, they are quite a bit far off, so it might be a little too far to get any kind of idea of what their facial reactions are.
That's a 21.
Never mind. Okay, so the first one that you notice who is clearly distressed about the situation is Volthric. He is already, like, pacing around. Like, you can't necessarily hear him, but you can see him, like, he's pacing around, thinking out loud, like, what is going on? Why is the fifth beast not doing anything? It hasn't even made an appearance. Should I send out scouts? Should I send out hunters to try to ascertain what is going on? Meanwhile, you look at both Gahoon and Mogul, and those two don't seem as worried, though it might be just because that, oh, we're the leaders, we have to keep up appearances so that no one else panics. But you do see them kind of, like, whisper to each other. They're both clearly worried about this as well, because they too don't know what's going on. And at that moment...
Can Dath notice this too? Or
yeah, why don't you roll me your own perception check?
Alright. My perception's not great, but whatever.
You're fine.
No, I'm not. It's 4. So never mind.
Yeah, you see their bodily movements, but you can't quite make out what it is exactly that you're doing. Because again, the distance.
Be right back.
Oh.
It's fine. I just gotta charge my phone.
Oh, okay. If that's the case, then we'll until Liam comes back, we heard from Lorelei, we heard from Kara, we heard from Strider. Everyone heard from Strider. Elma, Malice, how do you guys react to this?
I'm up on somebody's shoulder, so I'm like, why are you counting? What's going on?
The fifth guardian beast. They're not there. There's only 4. Where's the 5th one? There's always a 5th one.
Well, you gotta be patient. Not everybody's on time. He could be off.
He's always on time.
Hey, Strider, I would like you to make a wisdom saving throw.
That would be a 22.
Okay, I'm just gonna tell you this right now, Josh. If you rolled below a 10, we would see the first signs of Strider slowly slipping into insanity because the very fact that there are 5 beasts. There should be a 5th beast. Why isn't there a 5th beast? But there has to be a 5th beast, and it would just keep going and going and going until the camera slowly zooms out, and you're like in a straight jacket in a padded room.
I can't believe it's not.
And then you see Elma and the Golden Dragon just holding each other, weeping.
Someone is, like, talking to the doctor. Maybe it really was actual butter. I can't believe it's not butter.
Ma'am, Strider murdered 3 Greyblades.
Just straight up, just broken necks and ankles, man. Just.
Oh, Lordy.
I can't believe it's not.
Butter.
And Dath, were you doing something? You said you were doing something. Like, do you notice this, or like, what's going on?
What exactly are we all noticing?
Everyone's basically collectively noticing that the fifth beast hasn't appeared yet, and they typically all make appearances like frickin' clockwork at the year's end festival. This is the first time one of them was late.
I try not to panic. I sort of just assess the situation. I'm trying to think what I would do. Maybe I try to get near Volfric.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, that's not gonna work because he and the other two are on a suspended platform, basically hanging over the middle space of the city. So it's like, it's kind of impossible to get there.
There's not really much else he can do right now, so he's just sort of trying to figure out what's going on. He's trying to articulate in his mind what's happening.
All right. Lorelei.
He's gonna look at Sebastian. He's gonna say, excuse me, Mr. Sebastian, where are the other beasts? Like, where typically?
Sebastian looks to you and is actually right about to answer, but then all of the sudden, all of you hear the most blood-curdling, bone-chilling roar that you guys have ever heard before. And you hear just a bunch of rabid pounding and breaking of trees, and suddenly bursting out of the jungle tree line is this absolutely gigantic four-armed gorilla. And you all realize that, and your first default thought is, oh, here's the fifth archbeast, he was late. And then you actually look at him. He's holding something in one of his four giant arms. And again, this guy's the size of King Kong. He's holding something, and you realize it's a smaller, like, actual gorilla. But then you realize it's only half a gorilla. And he's holding the other half, like, in his other hand. And it somehow rushes out into the middle of, like, the clearing of the jungle. And it is just roaring. It is violent. It's pounding the ground in an absolute anger and rage. And as clear as you can see, the other four archbeasts all direct their attention towards the... What was this thing called again? A Giralon.
Yeah.
A Giralon. All four of them actually look at the Giralon, and they all start, like, roaring at it back. Meanwhile, while this is all going on, while the beasts are having basically an argument with each other, the entire crowd all around you now starts to slowly panic. Like, this is not supposed to happen. Something has happened to the beasts. Like, and everyone starts to leave. Like, everyone starts to rush off of the balconies and get out of there because they just don't know what the heck is going on. This isn't supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. The other four beasts are all slowly, like, screaming and screeching at the gorilla, who is not backing down. And at the same time, slowly, the other four beasts, they actually starting to turn their head towards each other. And they're starting to, like, make noises at each other as well. I would like everyone to roll perception checks.
Oh, sorry.
It hates me tonight. I got 4.
First bad roll of the night. I got an 8.
I got a 9.
I got a 17.
My passive perception is a 17, but I got a 9 on the check.
Well, okay, guys. If your passive perception is higher than what you rolled, go with your passive.
Mine is definitely not.
And 14.
Give me 1 minute.
17.
17.
Yeah, 17.
I have a stupid question.
Yes.
Oh, never mind. I found it. Teehee. I got 12 then.
Dath.
I have an
what?
11. I rolled a 3, but my passive is 11.
All of you who rolled above 10 succeed here. You all begin to slowly notice something is indeed wrong with the archbeasts. Typically, these four massive creatures exist in harmony with each other in their own respective regions. This is different. They are now actively starting to show aggression towards each other. And it all started when the Giralon held the completely eviscerated, mutilated corpse of one of its kin in its arms. Yes, Strider.
Can Strider, like, lean over to Zethar, who's kind of flying next to him, and just go, "What are they saying?"
I am going to have... Do you have Zethar's, like, character sheet?
Yeah.
Like, what is Zethar's intelligence? Like, intelligence modifier?
Oh, his intelligence modifier is a +2.
Okay, then we'll go with that for a moment. I'm going to have Zethar roll an intelligence check.
Cool.
+2, that's a 17.
Good boy.
Now, all of you here, you all hear what Zethar is saying. With the moment that the Giralon marched out and started to roar and snarl with the dead corpse of its brethren, and the other beasts are starting to roar back and then slowly begin to roar at each other, Strider, you see something that Zethar has never done before.
Mm-hmm.
It flies, it beelines straight down to your shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
and he is actually quivering in fright. And all of you hear this. Zethar just kind of looks at everyone and just goes, "The Giralon, it's saying that a beast from one of the other regions must have come into the jungle and killed one of its kin. He makes accusations to the other archbeasts, but they all dispute it. But then the mammoth, he speaks of finding corpses of his own children in the tundra. And the phoenix says it too. And the Hydra. And the Sphinx. So many dead that they're only just now starting to speak of because they're only just now awake to welcome the new year. And they all blame each other." He, like, tucks his head in his wings and is, like, burrowing his head into your neck.
And Elma's still on my shoulders, too.
Yeah, Elma's still in your shoulders, so he's, like, also huddled up against one of her legs as well.
And Elma's hugging it.
Oh!
Like, it's okay. It's okay.
At that moment, you hear all of the guard... Sorry, Carly, did you have something to say, or were you just, like, waving or something? What were you doing?
I was gonna say something, but I didn't know if you had more.
No. I didn't know what you were doing, so please do your thing.
She's gonna look at Sebastian and say, "Excuse me, Mr. Sebastian," and she's gonna walk over to the group, and she's going to kind of tap on, because she's, like, kind of shorter, I think we said she was, like, a tiny bit shorter than Strider. How tall is Strider?
6 foot exactly.
Oh yeah, she's like 5'4". She's fairly tiny for a tiefling. She's gonna tap on his shoulder and she's gonna say, "Excuse me, can I pet him?" And she's gonna attempt to calm Strider, and she's gonna attempt to calm fuck.
Zethar.
Thank you.
And Strider just, like, looks down and goes, "Hmm?" And then, like, looks at her and then looks at Elma hugging Zethar, trying to comfort her. Goes, "Oh, yeah. And his mind is kind of distracted because he has so many different things kind of going on in his head. The information that Zethar just stated concern, for the guardian beast concern, for the town and concern, for the special someone that he has yet to see during this time and is wondering if she's okay. So his mind's just like all over the place right now. He's not exactly sure, like kind of like what to do next. And that's a very odd feeling for him.
To do like an animal handling check for that of?
Yes, do an animal handling with advantage, because since a dragon is a much more intelligent creature than a normal animal, it will respond a little bit better to your intentions.
Cool, I got an 11 both times.
That is actually a success, because it was actually honestly a very low DC, because Zathar already likes you, because you're his companion. Zethar actually like flutters off of Strider's shoulder and just kind of plops himself in Lorelai's arms, kind of like a little kitten, and just is burrowing his face into her arms. He is terrified of what is going on right now.
She's gonna look at him and she goes, "Hey, it's okay to be scared."
At that moment, everyone, you all hear loud metallic marching, and you all look around you and you see that the city guard is starting to get people off of the many balconies, especially the one that you're on. And you see the giant armored, very shiny Leonin just go, everyone, please do not panic. This is something that will be investigated further. We will all calmly make our way off of the balconies, and please return to your residences or places of business. The festival, unfortunately, will have to end early this time, but as we investigate the situation, we will come to you with an update. Now, please, everyone exit. And he starts doing like hand signs like a flight attendant of an airplane, like, the balcony is here. You can find the stairs downstairs here and here.
Well, Fidelma's going to say,
guys, let's go back to the Gray. Where we're supposed to find out what we should be doing.
Huh? Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Come on. He just immediately turns with Elma on his shoulders and just begins to kind of jog off towards the Grey Blades.
Daff.
Yeah, all right.
Kara, Malice, and Lorelai, what are you guys doing?
Lorelai kind of hesitates and is like, well, I'm not a Grey Blade.
We gotta stick together!
Kara actually looks like at her uncle and then looks at everybody else, and she kind of gives a little bit of a sigh and looks at her uncle and goes, "Do you think we have room for these acquaintances?" I can't call them friends yet. I don't know them that well.
Your uncle
looks...
I'm sorry?
Daff looks over at Kara and says, "We could use your help."
Your uncle looks up at you from his very artificer-made wheelchair and just gives you a warm smile and just goes, "Oh, I'm pretty certain we have enough rooms. Excuse me, half-orc, horned woman 1 and 2, elf with little gold lizard, and tiny woman on his shoulders."
Uncle, hold on, and Kara actually starts to call out their names: Dad, Strider, Elma, Malice, Lorelai.
Hi, Kara.
You can come with us, and she kind of pats her uncle's head like.
Strider just pauses and looks over and goes, "Oh, he was addressing me." And he looks over at Elma and goes, Do I look like an elf?"
I don't think so.
I didn't think so either.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That
that's
dude.
right. Oh, wait, don't shifters have, like,
He's a
pointed ears
wolf
or something?
person.
No, they do. They have animalistic kind of pointy, kind of like ears, but he's way hairier than an elf would be.
Okay, he's instead of elf, he says, like, hairy man!
That works. He is a wild hunt shifter, so that works.
Laura looks at Kara and goes, "Where we go?"
What are next?
Just follow,
Going to hell.
and there will be plenty of food.
Oh,
I
food.
like food.
Figure that might work.
Yes, as my niece's companions, you are all welcome to stay the night at our estate. It is a much quicker trip to get there than to the Greyblade headquarters. If you will all accompany us, we would be delighted to host you.
Oh, that would be very nice. Come on, Zethar. We can head on out. Let's follow them.
Date.
At that moment, Zethar flutters out of Lorelai's arms. He was there this whole time.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And lands back on Strider's shoulder. However, Sebastian the turtle is like, think of an estate as like a very, very big house.
Oh. Why you need so much room?
For situations like this.
Okay.
Sorry,
go ahead, but I'm sorry, I thought you were done.
You run along, dear. I'm sure we'll bump into each other again. And he graciously lets you go, and then he starts to hobble with his cane Yoda style into the crowd where everyone is going back downstairs.
She's gonna look at everybody, and then she's gonna look towards him, and she's gonna be like, "Hold on 1 minute." And she's gonna run after him, and she's gonna give him an apple.
Oh, you are so kind.
Bye-bye, Sebastian.
Goodbye, Lady Lorelai. And he turns around and he vanishes into the crowd.
So you said there's food?
Kara?
Plenty of food. Lots of food.
Oh, good. And then he just hears a stomach growl. He's like, "Oh, I haven't had food yet. Yes, food's good. Come on, let's go to food."
Lorelai's gonna run after Strider, and she's gonna say, "What want? She's gonna pull off her pack, and she's gonna say, "I have oranges, I have apples, I have pears."
Do you have meat?
Wait a minute, she had meat. Now she got vegetables.
Not no more.
Oh, you become vegan, huh?
No.
Sorry.
For all
so much.
For all the lack of intelligence that Lorelai has, she knows what a vegan is and is against it.
Even though it makes absolutely no sense that veganism would be called that in the context of a fantasy world, but you know.
I know.
No, I kind of love that. Like, she's like, "No, I know what that is. I'm not stupid."
Now I really want an orange.
Right?
This is actually the perfect time to call it a session. So we'll continue this. We'll pick up with you guys arriving at Kara's estate in the higher levels of Acheron City. That being said, though, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It feels wonderful being a dungeon master again for all these wonderful people. Be sure to catch us next week, same time, for the next episode of The Great Poison.
Poison.
We're actually getting close to the climax of that story of my Metroid homebrew. So that's certainly going to be exciting. I would like to apologize for the severe audio error that we had where there was just no sound for the first 10 minutes. So unfortunately, whoever was watching us missed all the announcements. and like the first couple sentences of like the opening narration. But I'll do some editing so we can cut out all the mute stuff out. So again, I do apologize. That being the case, though, guys, thank you so much. Stay safe, and we will see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.